Apple. The last time Apple was in trouble, it turned to Steve Jobs for help. Steve Jobs had to return to Apple. He revived Apple with a slew of new products which revolutionized the tech world forever. iPod, iPad, iPhone. The biggest success was, of course, the iPhone. And it's that very product, the iPhone, which is now jinxing Apple. For the first time in 20 years, Apple has had to issue a warning to all of its investors and cut the revenue guidance from about $93 billion to about $81 billion. In a letter to investors, which is incidentally on the Apple website, CEO Tim Cook has blamed a whole host of issues, including China's slowdown, the strengthening of the US dollar, and changing consumer behavior. Let's go across to Rahul Diama for more on this. Rahul, I think the writing is on the wall. Mere upgrades ain't going to solve Apple's problems.
While the reasons that Apple has spoken about, and you did highlight, it's about China largely, the trade tensions have impacted with the major slowdown as far as iPhone sales. But the nitty-gritties, if you were to look at the investor note, also talks about the fact that there is definitely a change as far as how consumers are adopting the iPhone. Are they upgrading or not? Because he says the upgrades are not as strong for iPhone as they have been in emerging markets. But trends even in US indicate that people who usually upgraded their phone every 2 years are holding on to their iPhones for as long as 3 years. The fact that you can replace the batteries at a cheaper rate, that is also impacting the trend, and the fact that the prices have also become competitive with several other players in the space to sort of get most of the technology, the features in other phones. So definitely a lot of this has to also be attributed to the big shift and the focus that Apple has heavily inclined towards the iPhone sales. But let's talk about China, because that's something that has hit them hard. They have cut down their revenue forecast by over 5%. They say up to 100% of the year-on-year worldwide decline in revenues is coming from Greater China, which includes China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, which is definitely one of the most crucial markets for them. And the trade tensions have also had a ripple effect on this, with both sides not really agreeing to solve some of these major issues. Seems like this will continue. In fact, I've just received an update that Goldman Sachs is out with its note on this development, and they say that we see the iPhone sales further dwindling down in 2019 because the implications of the US-China trade war will continue. So analysts also really penciling in the fact that this decline will continue for at least 2-3 more quarters. While India did not find a mention this time, remember just 2-3 months back in the earnings call, while Tim Cook talked about how flat the sales in India are, but he did indicate that he's quite bullish in negotiations with the government on to open stores. So India is also quite a tough market. So much of competition that we have seen from the likes of OnePlus, Vivo, the churn that we are seeing there. So back here in India also, I personally know a lot of iPhone lovers who are ditching the iPhone to other competitors. I'm not sure, Nayantara, if you are an iPhone fan yourself.
I am an iPhone fan. In fact, I have an iPhone 6s and I still haven't felt the need to upgrade it. My daddy wants to buy me one. That's his choice, but I think that's part of the problem that Apple is facing, mere upgrades. And look at the prices, $1,000, and it's struggling with the sales, as we can see. Not struggling, but it's not selling as many iPhones as it thought it would.